Okay. So you trying to make her happy is never going to work out for you because they're never truly happy. So you've got to be indifferent to her emotional storms. Okay. So a calm, indifferent response to emotional turbulence increases a woman's respect for a man, right? She's on an emotional roller coaster. She doesn't want you to get on the emotional roller coaster with her. She wants to know that someone has their feet on the ground. That's you. That's your job as a man. That's your job. Okay. So, predictability and emotional volatility kill attraction while controlled confidence fuels it. Right. And if it really is as simple as this, right? Women are security seeking creatures that respond to strength. Just remember that. Keep that in your head. Women are security seeking creatures that respond to strength. If you could do that, then it doesn't matter what her emotions are, okay? Because you're staying strong, you're staying centered, you're maintaining frame. And that by itself will be the closest thing you could ever get to a woman being happy. Because she's going to feel safe and secure in the relationship. You're going to be strong and she's going to be attracted to that strength. Okay. Setting and enforcing emotional boundaries. Boundaries are paramount. Having boundaries and enforcing boundaries is an essential skill if you're going to be in a long-term relationship. And the thing is once you learn how to set boundaries in your romantic life, you can set and enforce boundaries in your personal life and your professional life. All right. I have one of my clients, me showing him how to set boundaries and enforce boundaries and use proper language to enforce those boundaries has actually helped him way more in his professional life through this whole program that we've been going through than necessarily his wife. But he did recognize, like, his wife responds very well to the boundaries, but it's almost like second nature now for him, right? But one area that he realized, hey, I need to set more boundaries in my personal life is with his mother-in-law. His mother-in-law will do things and he'll feel guilty for telling her no, and he doesn't want to make his wife mad. And so he's like, oh, I realize I need to do that in that area too. But at work, he's able to tell people, hey, that's not my job. That's this team's job, right? And instead of just doing whatever to make everybody happy, he's not doing that anymore. And the thing is that it's getting him more respect at work. He's getting promoted, like all this kind of stuff. It's fascinating to watch. And that's why at the beginning of the show, I say, I help men level up and get better with women, but the skills it takes to get better with women helps you in all areas of your life. Like this guy's carrying this over to his professional life and it's helping him. And then other areas of his personal life with his mother-in-law and stuff like that, you see, it helps you in all areas of your life. So being able to learn how to set and enforce boundaries is paramount. And what you'll find is that when you stop letting people walk all over you and you stop trying to make everybody happy and you're not afraid to tell people no when you need to, like, you have more peace of mind, right? You have better control of your life. You have better control of your time. You have better control of your emotions. And a lot of guys, they always talk about how I want a woman to bring me peace. And I often say a woman will never bring you peace. Okay. Learning these types of skills, you'll control your own peace. You understand? Like, once you learn how to do this stuff, once you learn how to have mental frame, you'll realize that peace and happiness comes from within, and you have full control over that at all times. It doesn't matter what other people are doing. And some of these skills will help you maintain that peace, right? Boundaries is a skill that will help you with that. So emotional boundaries, they protect a man from being overly influenced by external chaos, right? That's why I say, like, once you learn how to do this, you control your own peace. Right? It doesn't matter what all this chaos is, because you're setting boundaries up that protect you from that, right? Boundaries are for you, not for them. Okay. A strong man offers emotional support without absorbing his wife's emotional fluctuations. So this is where I say, like, don't climb up on her emotional roller coaster. You don't have to get into the feels with her. You don't have to agree with the things that she's feeling about. Just recognize that her feelings are her feelings, like, for her, that's reality. Even if it's absurd to you, for her, that's absolutely real. So just acknowledge it. Just be like, yeah, I understand how you might feel that way. You know what I mean? And she just wants you to listen. She doesn't want you to solve her problems. That's a hard thing for guys because we're problem solvers. We're natural problem solvers, right? Consistently enforcing emotional boundaries reinforces a man's leadership and self-respect. And this is why it's important to stay consistent with it. Because once she's able to push past one of your boundaries, when she's able to like break one of your boundaries and there's no consequence for it, the more she'll keep doing it. And then until she finally is just like, this guy's boundaries are a fucking joke. And then she has no respect for you and she walks all over you. And this is where like Ryan Stone's article comes in handy, where it talks about if she's not fucking you, forget about leading, right? Shut the fuck up about leading, because you're not leading and you haven't been leading this whole time, and she's lost respect for you. So now when you try to lead, she's going to laugh at you because you haven't been able to set and enforce these boundaries. Okay. But you do have to start somewhere, right? You do have to start somewhere. You got to start turning the ship around somehow. So how do you do that? Well, you've learned how to say no. You learn how to set boundaries. You learn how to enforce boundaries. You learn how to use tools like broken record, and you start applying them in little areas, right? And you start setting the tone and leading in different areas. Start making decisions without asking her permission. Like when she gets mad about it, you just say, oh, I see you're upset about it, but we're still doing it this way, right? And then you use broken record and you use all those tools until she finally stops testing you because she realizes, okay, no, this guy's actually stepping up and leading. You know what I mean? But at first, she's not going to respect any of it. She's going to want to keep pushing those boundaries. She's going to still want to, disrespect you and all that kind of stuff because she doesn't respect you. So it's much better to do this from the beginning and be consistent with it than to have to like let it erode over time and then try to turn things around. It's the same thing as teenagers, right? If you are a good dad and you're hard on your kids early when they're younger, and you're beating asses when they're like 3 and 4, by the time they're teenagers, they're disciplined and they're not getting into trouble, right? But if you've like played with them and just let them walk all over you their entire lives, and then now you're trying to wrangle them back in as teenagers, like they're just gonna slip through your fingers and do whatever the fuck they want. Like I know I was that teenager. My kids are much better kids than I was. I'll tell you that, man. And that's because I was a fucking asshole when they were younger. But now that they're teenagers, like we got a really good relationship. It's good. All right. Avoiding reactive behavior in conflict. And we talked a little bit about this, right? Emotional outbursts during arguments weaken a man's frame and position. As soon as you blow up at her and light her up because of something she's doing or saying, that's the moment her hindbrain goes, he failed. He just failed the test. I was able to get under his skin. I was able to piss him off. I was able to push his buttons, and he had no control over that. Now I can manipulate him, right? As soon as she's able to do that, she starts losing that respect for you, right? And the more that happens over time, the less and less she respects you, the less and less she loves you. She stops putting out like all that kind of stuff. It's a slow erosion over time. Okay. And it really does start with you not being able to handle her shit tests. That's where it starts. Okay. So remember, you want to take a deep breath. If you find you're aware of the situation, you're staying sort of in the present moment. You're not just trying to think of the next thing to say because you like arguing with people. Just stay present in the moment, take a deep breath, pause before engaging. That's going to help you not escalate the situation, not throw gasoline on the fire. Right? And then you can appear, even if you are a little bit shaken, right? Like we're not robots. We're not emotional robots. Like women know over time what pisses us off. You're probably going to still get pissed off. It's just how do you express that, right? So if you remain visibly unshaken in disagreements, that showcases confidence and emotional strength. Okay. The first several times you practice this, it's going to be hard as fuck. It's going to be hard. And you're going to want to lay into her. That's going to be your gut instinct. That's going to be your knee-jerk reaction. And the more you just go, nope, like in your head, nope, I'm not falling into her frame. Right. The more you stay calm, the more she's going to go, geez, nothing rattles this guy anymore. Like, what's going on? What's he doing? Is he out in the woods meditating? Like, what's he doing? Right. She's going to start, okay, all right, I see you. All right. Like he's not getting mad anymore. That's going to make her feel more safe and secure. She's going to start testing you less over time. Right. But the first time you start doing that, she's not going to necessarily believe that's the real you. And she's going to test you more. And you just got to be ready for it. Okay. Managing external stress without losing frame. So this is a big thing. I heard Paul Benjamin talk about this the other day on his show too. Paul's been putting out really good, like short 30-minute videos lately. And I learn a lot from Paul Benjamin of Apex Mindset. If you guys aren't subscribed to him, definitely check him out. But one of the things I talk about in my book is compartmentalizing stress from work and like your finances, compartmentalizing that stuff, and don't bring it into the relationship. Okay. You're the leader. And even though you're worried about how you're going to pay your bills, how you're going to, whatever, work sucks. Everyone's riding your ass at work and you're stressed out about that. Don't come and dump that on your wife or your girl. Okay. You compartmentalize that, shield her from that. Right? Think of like Scarface or any kind of gangster movie where the mob doesn't talk about mob business in front of their wives, right? And then when their wives ask them about their business, they're like, I told you never ask about the business. I told you never, right? Because they're compartmentalizing it because it's a criminal activity and they don't want to implicate their wives, right? Well, think of it similarly. You don't want to bring that kind of stress and dump it on your girl. That's not like your job as the man is to bear the burden of this type of stuff. You're the leader. Okay. And you can handle it. You can handle it. You're a strong masculine dude that can handle life's shit. Okay. She's not. She is a whammon, and women are emotional. And if you bring your problems to her, and you're just like trauma dump on her about all your problems, she's going to start losing respect for you over time. You know what I mean? That's not her job. It's not. So just compartmentalize that stuff. Don't bring that shit home. Okay. And you're going to get along much better if you can just leave work at the door. And sometimes it's hard, man. It's hard. Like if you have a career like I've had in IT where it's 24/7, IT work is 24/7 because people access the internet 24 hours a day. And so servers and systems have to be running 24/7. It's really hard to compartmentalize that because if an outage happens at 3 a.m, like you gotta get out of bed and go take care of it. If you're in the middle of banging your girl out at 11:45 and you get an alert on your phone and you're on call, like you gotta stop banging her and go take care of the server that's down. You know what I mean? So it's really hard to compartmentalize that stuff. But as long as you don't make it her problem, as long as you're like, yeah, I got everything under control at work. Like best thing to say if she's like, hey, how are things at work, is to say, oh yeah, everything's great. Right? Compartmentalize that shit. Okay. Don't bring it home. You'll have a much happier marriage. You'll have a much happier relationship.
New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Subscribe now.